A thin, cold wind whistles through the narrow alley, carrying the scent of damp concrete and old spices. In a small, sheltered alcove, three young men, Amir, Khalid, and Youssef, huddle around a small, flickering fire in an old oil drum. The light dances on their faces, highlighting their worn clothes and the tired resignation in their eyes. Khalid looks at his hands, calloused and stained, and sighs deeply. It's a dead end, Amir. We just go in circles. Every day is the same street, the same grind. We're born on the wrong side of the city and we'll die on it. Snorting, a bitter laugh. What, you expect some angel to descend and hand you a briefcase full of cash? This isn't a fairy tale, Khalid. It's reality. The only magic trick I know is how to make a day's pay disappear before sunset. Youssef pokes the fire with a stick, the sparks flying up into the dark sky. He doesn't say a word, just listens. Khalid sighing, I don't want a briefcase. I just want to move, to build something that doesn't crumble as soon as you touch it. Amir shaking his head. You talk about building, but the only builders I know inherit their tools. The rich get richer and the poor. We just provide the backdrop for their stories. A shadow falls over them. Iskandar stands at the mouth of the alley, his posture straight, a simple, elegant robe over his clothes. His face, etched with a lifetime of experience, is half hidden in the dim light. The boys don't notice him at first. Iskandar. Softly, but his voice is firm and deep. A good story can be told anywhere, and a good story can be the foundation for a whole new world. The boys jump, startled. Khalid immediately stands, wary. Khalid, can we help you? Iskandar. A gentle smile. I'm not here for help. I'm here to offer you some. Not money, mind you, just a different perspective. My wife insists I stop for coffee after my evening walk. I was going to buy one. I figured. A few extra couldn't hurt. He holds up a large thermal flask. The scent of fresh coffee wafts from it, a warm, inviting aroma that cuts through the night air. The boys exchange confused glances. Iskandar. Sit. I see you have a fire. I have a story. It's only fair we share. Hesitantly, the boys sit back down. Iskandar takes a seat on a stone ledge across from them. He pours 3 cups of steaming coffee and hands one to each of them. Iskandar. To Amir, who is still skeptical. You say the rich inherit their tools? True, some do, but others. They find a rock and carve one themselves. Amir's frown deepens. Iskandar. I was born with nothing but a pair of sandals and a father who believed a man's worth was measured by his honor. My family lived in a single-room home, more stone than plaster, in a village so remote the sand dunes were our only neighbors. We didn't have much. No, we had nothing. And as a boy, I looked at the vast empty desert and felt it was a mirror of my own life. He takes a sip of his coffee, his gaze lost in the fire. Iskandar. We had no oil wells, no ports, no great markets, just sun, sand, and dates. And so, my first business was a basket of dried dates. I would walk for hours under a sun that could boil the blood in your veins, to the nearest town. I was 10 years old. Every single date was precious. Every sale was a victory against the desert itself.
A small, humble room. A younger, wiry Iskandar 15 carefully sorts dates into piles. His father 40 watches him. His face stern, but his eyes filled with love, father each date. My son represents a trust. The trust of the person who bought it from the tree, and the trust of the one who will buy it from you. Do not break the trust for a single coin. Young Iskandar nodding, I understand, father. Father, do you? A man without honor is a man who walks in circles. He may gather many things, but he will never have a home back in the present. The boys listen intently. The cynicism has faded from Amir's face, replaced by a grudging curiosity. Iskandar, that wisdom became my first capital. Not money, integrity. I sold the best dates, never cheated on the weight, never broke a promise. And people noticed. The local merchants started to come to me, asking me to sell their dates, their figs, their spices. I was the boy with the good hands and the honest heart. Amir, so you got a reputation. That's good, but it doesn't make you a billionaire. Iskandar, patience, young man. Reputation is the seed. You need water and sunlight to make it grow. My sunlight came in the form of an old merchant named Abu Hassan. He had a camel train that went to a city so far away. They said the sand there was a different color. He saw my diligence and offered me a deal. Iskandar, you will be my runner, he said. You'll travel with us, sell our goods at the market, and you'll get a cut. But if you fail, you get nothing.
A long caravan of camels trudges across the endless desert under a scorching sun. The heat shimmers above the sand. Young Iskandar, now a strapping young man of 18, walks beside the camels, his face covered with a scarf. He looks exhausted, but his eyes are alive with purpose. He is learning from Abu Hassan, who is riding on a camel. Abu Hassan see, Iskandar, the desert teaches you that life is a series of small steps. You cannot sprint across a sea of sand. You must walk, one step at a time, conserving your energy and trusting your guide. The same is true in business. Young Iskandar, but what if the destination is a mirage? What if we get there and the market is dead? Abu Hassan, the destination is never the point. The journey is. The lessons you learn on the path, the people you meet, the sweat on your brow. That is the true treasure, Iskandar. We reached that city. The market was a whirlwind of noise and color. 1,000 different scents. Abu Hassan's goods were good, but they were not exceptional. So I did something different. I didn't just sell them. I told their stories. The boys lean in closer. Iskandar, I told them where the dates were grown, how the sun had given them their sweetness. I told them of the old man who made the clay pots, each one crafted with a prayer for the one who would use it. And people responded. They weren't just buying goods. They were buying a piece of home, piece of tradition. Call it. So you became a storyteller, Iskandar. I became a marketer. I sold more than any of Abu Hassan's other runners. He was impressed, and he gave me a bonus enough to buy my own small cart and some goods. I was finally on my own. I thought I had conquered the world. He pauses, a solemn look on his face. Iskandar, but the desert is a fickle master, and the desert of life is even more so, Amir. The setback. I knew it. Something bad happened. Iskandar, I had reinvested every last dirham. I bought a full cart of the finest saffron, a spice worth more than its weight in silver. I was on my way back to my village, dreaming of the small house I would build for my parents. But a great sandstorm struck. It was so thick you couldn't see your own hand in front of your face. I lost my way. I lost my cart. When the winds finally died, I found the cart. But the saffron was gone, buried, scattered, ruined. The boys are silent. Yusef's eyes are wide. Iskandar, I sat there in the sand, with nothing but the clothes on my back and a broken cart. I was a failure. My family, my dreams, all of it was gone. I wanted to lie down and let the desert take me. He looks each of them in the eye. Iskandar, you see, this is the moment that defines you. This is the moment you stop being an idle man. When the sand claims your dreams, you have two choices. You can bury yourself in it, or you can use it to build. A defeated young Iskandar sits on the ground, his head in his hands. He looks up and sees a small group of men, dressed in simple robes, digging. They are not digging for gold, but for water. They are building an irrigation canal. An idea sparks in his eyes. He stands, wipes the sand from his face, and approaches the foreman. Young Iskandar, sir, you are building. You need more men. I may not have money, but I have a strong back and a will to work. I will work for half the wage on one condition. Foreman skeptical. And what is that? Young Iskandar, want to learn. I want to learn how you find the water, how you dig the channels, how you make the desert bloom. The foreman studies him for a moment and then nods. Foreman, the earth will teach you more than any man. Iskandar, I worked for a year on that project. I learned the language of the earth. I learned about foundations and the power of water. I learned that you cannot just sell what others have created. You have to create something yourself. Khalid, so you became an engineer? Iskandar, not at first, but I had a new reputation. People knew I was a hard worker, that I understood the land. I used that reputation to get a small loan from a village elder, a man who saw potential where others saw only dirt. I started a small construction crew. Just 2 men and a donkey. We built walls, then small homes, then roads. He smiles, a faraway look in his eyes. Iskandar. Every stone we laid was a promise. Every brick was a testament to our resolve. My company didn't grow with a single deal. It grew with thousands of small, honest jobs. We built schools. We built hospitals. We built homes for people who had nothing. We were building not just structures, but trust, Amir. But the system is rigged. It's not about trust. It's about connections, Iskandar. And what do you think connections are built on? A handshake is nothing without honor behind it. A promise is a mirage unless it's backed by action. My connections were the countless people who knew my name, not because I was rich, but because I was reliable, because I delivered. Iskandar Company, Al-Ali Construction, grew into a giant. We built the skyscrapers that touched the clouds, the ports that welcome the world's ships, the bridges that cross vast rivers. But every single one of those triumphs rests on the foundation of a single, broken cart in the desert. The sandstorm that ruined my business was the sand that filled my hands and taught me how to build. Iskandar's voice drops to a low, powerful whisper. The fire has died down to glowing embers. Iskandar, you sit here in the dark and talk about being born on the wrong side of the city. But you have a fire. You have your friends. You have your youth. And you have a hunger. The same hunger I had when I sat with nothing. The only difference is what you do with it, Amir. But we don't know where to start. The world is too big, Iskandar. No, the world is the sum of its small parts. Start with one thing you can do better than anyone else. A promise you can keep. A skill you can learn. That is your first stone. The one you will use to build your own empire. He stands, his joints creaking slightly. He looks at Yusuf, who has not spoken a word all night. Iskandar to Yusuf, you listen well, you absorb. That is a gift. Do not waste it. When you are ready to speak, make sure your words have the weight of experience. Iskandar turns and begins to walk out of the alley. The boys are frozen, their minds reeling. Iskandar turning back once, his voice soft. You say I am a billionaire. Maybe, but I am more than that. I am a builder. I built myself from nothing. And you can do the same. He disappears into the night, leaving the boys in silence. They are no longer just cold. They are no longer just tired. They are thinking. Amir pokes the dying fire. The embers glow brighter. Khalid looks at the empty coffee cups in their hands. Khalid, he didn't give us money. Amir, a new tone in his voice. Less bitter, more thoughtful. No, he gave us something better. A map. Yusuf finally speaks. His voice a low, firm murmur. Yusuf, he gave us the first stone. The three of them sit there for a long time. The silence no longer empty, but filled with the weight of possibility.